Welcome to Intuitive Transformations with your host, Sylvia Henderson, and discover tools, wisdom, and inspiration that will empower you to transform your life. Sylvia is an intuitive life coach and energy healer with a growing practice that is focused on empowering others to be more of who they want to be. For the next hour, join Sylvia and explore and unravel anything in the way of you creating the life that you would love to live on the OMTimes Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to Intuitive Transformations radio show with Sylvia Henderson. I'm your host. I'm sorry we're having a little bit of technical difficulty. I'm trying to bring Heather in, but we're having a lot of static on her line. So please bear with me. We're going to try one more attempt to connect her and see how that goes. Hi, once again, this is Sylvia Henderson. We are having some really interesting technical difficulties today. I know that we've had some solar flares and all kind of things going on, and I have this amazing guest that was scheduled for today, but we could not get a really clear signal, so I couldn't hear her. All I heard was static in the background, and that's why there was a delay in me joining the show. So today is going to be very interesting because this is going to be just kind of a let's see what happens kind of show. Again, you're listening to Intuitive Transformations, and you can find me here every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and also 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, connecting, sharing, and inspiring you to expand into more of who you are so that you can step into more of what you love in your life. I'm an intuitive life coach, and I'm an energy healer, and I focus primarily on stress relief. And if you'd like to know more about what I do, maybe even book a 15-minute complimentary consultation, then please feel free to visit my website at intuitivetransformations.net. And from there, you can choose to send me an email, book an appointment, or sign up for my newsletter. So I really want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. I had promised you that we were going to talk about Be Spirit-Led in Wealth and Abundance. And Heather and I were so excited about doing this show together. And unfortunately, sometimes things just don't play out the way we expect. But, you know, everything is always perfect and always in perfect alignment. So I am just going to wing it and share from my point of view. And then we can move forward from there and get Heather scheduled on another time, make sure that our equipment's in sync so that we can deliver the Be Spirit-Led in Wealth and Abundance show that I promised you was going to happen this evening. So, as many of you may or may not know, we have had a lot of changes. Astrologically, we've had a lot of changes around the Earth's electromagnetic field, and I'm wondering if that has something to play into our technical difficulties that I had with my amazing guest that I had in store for you. But I do want you to know that from what I've understand and from what I've heard and been able to ferret out in terms of trying to get information on what is going on the planet right now, because a lot of people have been really overwhelmed and a lot of people have been incredibly stressed out. Lots of emotional stuff has been coming up and regurgitating. And I know that a few shows prior, I had said, don't worry, it's going to be over soon. And I'm here to tell you that actually it has gotten so much better. After we had our spring equinox, and when we actually stepped fully into spring, which was on the 19th of March, the energy shifted and it lifted significantly. Thank God, because I was really feeling it too. I think I even kind of hunkered down that weekend myself just to take care of myself. But I will say this, things are definitely on the up and they're getting so much better because we're out of that Uranus-Pluto square that I had talked about in another show prior that has very intense energy that's associated with it. Like previously, I think the last time that kind of a square appeared astrologically was probably back in about 1932, 33. And if any of you are history buffs, then you know that that was right around the time when we had the Great Depression, Hitler was around, and there were a lot of changes and upheaval. And here we are again, this Pluto-Uranus square that had started back in 2012. I know for myself, ever since 2012, life has been really interesting and unique. It just, nothing really played out the way it used to prior to that time. And I know a lot of people that I've talked to throughout the last few years have also witnessed the same kind of experiences in their own unique way. And thankfully that now is lifted. And so what has happened is there is a tremendous amount of light now that has been unleashed upon the planet. And think of it this way. If you have a glass of water that is got some mud and sediment in the bottom of it, and you start pouring in clean, filtered water into that glass of muddy water, what happens is eventually that clean water displaces that dirty, muddy water. But in the process, what it does is that settlement that's been on the bottom starts to bubble up. So for a lot of people, that old stuff that was there that they thought they had worked through kept coming up to the surface. It was because it was coming up just so that it could be released and so that it could be healed. And so we've gone through, I believe, from what I understand and what I feel even vibrationally, the worst of it. It's going to get better from here on, for sure. So the other things that have been happening this last week that have been really interesting and unique are these solar flares that have been hitting the planet pretty hard. We've had a number of them that started last week, and I think the biggest one last week was called an X 2.2. And the way and this is information from NASA. This is not psychic information. This is information from the scientists who watch these phenomena. And the way they rate solar flares is like this. There's a level B, there's a level C, there's a level M, and then there's level X. And X is the highest intensity. And last week it was an X 2.2. And what that means is that it is twice as strong as an X1. So an X1 is half the strength of an X2. And just this last week, we actually had what they rate as an X4, which is even stronger. So what is the big deal about that? Solar flares actually disrupt the electromagnetic field of the planet. And they're capable of knocking out radio signals. And it's not just that they upset the magnetic field of the planet, they also upset the magnetic field of human beings as well, because we have an electromagnetic field that is around us. I mean, that's how cardiologists are able to measure the energy in our heart. That's the electrical field that we're carrying in our heart. Or with an EEG, where they measure brain activity or seizure activity. That's an electrical field that they're able to measure that around us. And that's why they use magnetic resonance machines too, because we have an electromagnetic field. And so I was talking to someone last week actually, and she was saying, I was sharing with her this information, and she said, gosh, Sylvia, I'm really glad you shared that with me, because the other night, the night when the solar flare was going on, she said, I felt like something really funky was going on with my electromagnetic field, like maybe it was the moon. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. The other thing that was going on last week is we had a new moon, a new lunar moon, and we also had a solar eclipse, and I believe a lunar eclipse too, all at the same time. So lots of things that have been going on that affect us energetically, vibrationally, and definitely emotionally as well. So I guess, what happened today on the show as we launch into this is, all I can say is everything happens as it should. And I think that's something that Heather also, we kind of agreed that together, and that this is happening for a reason. So I'm just going to be present, and I'm going to allow whatever comes forward to come forward, because my intention is that this show be a blessing to you, that you receive something very positive that's going to encourage you in whatever challenge it is that you're going through. And I'm going to even talk a little bit about money. And I'm sure that I cannot share even close to what Heather was going to be able to share with us, but I'm going to do my best, and I certainly hope that you'll enjoy the ride. So we're going to go right into a break, and when we return, I'll be here. So stay tuned for more. Thank you for listening. I'll be right back.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Katrina Kavanagh, host of the I Am Wisdom radio show. I Am Wisdom is about the connection between mind work and energy work, spirituality, and living a wonderful life. Looking forward to sharing each Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with you.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. The Real Conscious Connection. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hello and welcome back. You're listening to Sylvia Henderson on IOM FM. on the Intuitive Transformations radio show. And for those of you that are just tuning in, I want you to know that we had a change in plans. I had originally a fantastic guest scheduled for today, and the topic we had planned to discuss was Be Spirit-Led in Wealth and Abundance. Unfortunately, we had some technical issues that we had not planned on having, and while she could hear me, I could not hear her. So what we're going to do is I'm going to reschedule Heather, and we'll have her back in the very near future, because this is a topic, Be Spirit-Led in Wealth and Abundance, that everyone needs to have access to this information that Heather has to share. I'm just going to give you a little bit of what you would have gotten about Heather, because, she's a phenomenal person. She's amazing. And she's so amazing that if you go to the show page at the bottom of the description of the show, she has a special gift just for my listeners. So make sure you go to the show information page on OMTimes radio, and there you can click on a link at the bottom of the show description, and she's got a great gift for you that has to do with helping you to be spirit-led regarding money. And Heather is an amazing healer. I am so wishing that she could have joined me here today, because I've been so impressed with her for over a year now. And I just want to give you some information about a special course that she is launching next month. Even though she's not going to be joining me here, and you're not going to get a chance to really get to hear her, because she's amazing. She's probably one of the most joyful, most authentic healers I've ever come across. And being a healer myself, I'm quite a skeptic, and I'm very discriminating. And I myself have utilized Heather's services, and I have been incredibly impressed with her gift and her ability to move energy very powerfully and to affect change. And so I just want you to know that she's got something brand new that she's launching. It's called Spirit School. It's something that was divinely inspired, that just was gifted to her by Spirit. And I know that we were going to talk a little bit on that today. Please visit Heather's website and take a look at Spirit School, because if this is something that speaks to you, I think you definitely want to tap into that. Again, Heather is an amazing individual, high integrity, very authentic, very genuine, and her work is solid. It's effective. I trust it emphatically, and I have no problem endorsing her 110%. So I hope that you will take some time to visit Heather's website. The link is on the show page, and you can find that there. And please take a visit. Take advantage of looking at her videos. Take advantage of reading her content. It's really fabulous. She is a gift. She really is a gift, especially to those of us who are healers, coaches, have our own businesses. She has built a very beautiful life for herself after having a health challenge. And so don't worry, I'm going to have her on a show at another date. I promise, because I want you to hear from this woman. She's pretty amazing. Just to let you know also, next Sunday, please be sure to tune in. And I know I always say this after every show, but really do. Please tune in. You won't want to miss my next show, because next week's guest is actually one of my personal heroes, being that her book, E Squared, came out right when I needed to be reminded in a very tangible way that there is a universal field that not only responds favorably to my thoughts and intentions, but is 100% supportive. And next week, I will have the #1 New York Times bestselling author, Pam Grout, join me. And we are going to talk about her book, E Squared, and her most recent book, E Cubed, which came out late last year. And these amazing experiments that she has devised and put together in both of these books that provide you with some really tangible proof that the universe supports you, that there is a divine field of consciousness that is here and that we can tap into that using our intentions. And it is a performance-based field when we know how to use it. And she's done a beautiful job doing that. And she's a travel journalist, and she has lived a very, very full life, and she has a lot to share with us next week. Because the star of both of these books is the field of infinite potentiality. And so I can't wait for her to join us and have her share that information with you and myself as well. Because like I said, she's my personal hero. I was so excited when she agreed to be on the show. So today we are going to play. We're going to play in the field of potentiality. I've decided I moved all my equipment downstairs so that I could get to my healing tools, because I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some group clearing work around money and abundance. Since that was a theme that kind of drew everyone to this place, that's what I think I want to focus on. So I know this is a little novel and out of the box, but I believe in going with the flow. Everything happens for a reason. Everything is by divine order. And because it didn't work out to have Heather join us this time, we can still have fun and play in the field of healing and wholeness, especially when it comes to stepping into the concepts of wealth and abundance. So I'm just prepping myself to work with all of you, and I'm prepping you all energetically. Now, here's what I want you to know. You don't have to participate in this healing if you don't want to. You can still listen and not be a participant. The only way that you actually can participate in this healing is if you make a conscious decision. Yes, I want to participate. I want to receive some of that yummy clearing that Sylvia has in store for me this evening. And if you've got some blocks around money, abundance, or wealth, then yeah, you might want to say yes to that. And I work with a very high level of ever-expanding love and above, and divine consciousness. And so there is no limitation to energy. Energy is everywhere. It surrounds us. It surrounds the globe. It surrounds the planet. It surrounds the universe. It is what we rest in. It's all around us. So no matter where you are, it doesn't matter that you can't tell me what you're going through, because Spirit knows. Spirit knows everything. And so all I do is I tap into that and I see what is the core issue for this group that's listening right now that would like to receive some clearing around finances, money, wealth, and abundance. Now, I will say this, and I'm borrowing this a little bit from Heather and what I know of her. Wealth is a lot more than money. It is not about being able to get out of debt. It's not about increasing your income. It's not about material goods. It's not about a car and a house. It's not what you might think it is. It's so much more than that. Wealth really and abundance is having full and complete access to all those things, to all your needs being met, no matter what they may be, whether they're physical, whether they're relationship, and whether they are material or financial. So first of all, I want to clarify that we're not just talking about dollar bills. That can be part of it. What we're talking about is really opening up and clearing any blocks that are in your way. That's what I'm planning on doing tonight. Clearing any blocks that might be in your way of receiving wealth in a richer, more fluid manner. Okay? And whatever your blocks might be to receiving the goodness that divine consciousness and God has in store for you. So, I just finished prepping us to work. I'm going to see what are some of the belief systems that might just be in our way as a whole What I do, because you can't see what I'm doing, is I work with a pendulum and I use some dowsing tools. And so I just check and ask with my intention where I need to go and if there's anything that people need to clear on certain belief systems. So let's see where we're going to go first while I take a look. So just give me a moment while I'm tapping in to everyone's energy field and see what comes up first for everyone as a whole. That may just be a block here. So the first thing that I'm going to be looking at is power. And this may have to do with you stepping into your own personal power. This may have to do with where you may have abdicated your power, given your power away to others. And so the way this work happens is I'm working with belief systems here. Now, it would be nice if somebody could just, wave a magic wand and just change all your belief systems. But that's not how the universe works. You see, you are designed to have free will and free choice. And you are designed to have free will and free choice over whatever you believe to be true. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to state what the belief system is that needs to be fortified, and that means strengthened within you. And I'm going to ask the creator of all that is to download and teach you this. And it's going to be very simple because I'm just going to ask for it to be changed. And then instantly, you'll just be downloaded with that information. Now, I don't know. I can't ask for a raise of hands. I was going to say, how many of you have ever heard of the movie The Matrix? Oh, you can't let me know, but I'm just going to ask you this. If you've watched the movie The Matrix, do you remember that scene where Neo is sitting in the chair and they plug his head into the chair? And then he's downloaded with how to be a karate expert. And they unplug him. He's like, oh, wow, now I know how to do everything about karate and jiu-jitsu, and I know how to handle weapons and the whole 9 yards. It's a little bit like this. So many of us, we have certain strengths and we have certain weaknesses. And so what this work does is it helps to strengthen where you're weak. So in a minute, we're going to go right into a break now. And when we return, we're going to start doing some clearing work. So please stay tuned. This is a great gift for you to receive, a gift from my heart. And it's going to be fun. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Have you bought into the idea that you have to work hard for your money, that business is hard? I will share some dynamic access consciousness tools to get you out of your own way so you can create a business that actually succeeds. Join me, Simone Millis's, on The Joy of Business at 4 p.m. Mondays Eastern.
The truth is, you can't change the world if you're broke. I know. I've tried. Isn't it time you turned your life's calling into a profitable, freedom-based business? I'm Michelle Barr. Join me every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern for Sacred Success.
Simone Millis would like you to know that business can be fun, which is why she wrote the book, Joy of Business. What if you could have the joy of business rather than the stress and struggle? Most of the time, the only thing stopping you from a thriving business is you. In the Joy of Business book, Simone gives you access consciousness tools and pragmatic ways to get out of your own way and to create the business, life, and living you know is possible and beyond what this reality says is achievable. Business is joy. It's creation. It's generative. It can be the adventure of living. You can purchase your copy of the book through Amazon or Joy of Business website, www.accessjoyofbusiness.com. Conscious media for conscious minds. OMTimes.
Hello and welcome back. You're listening to Sylvia Henderson on Intuitive Transformations. And originally we had planned to have Heather Strang join me today, and we were going to talk about Be Spirit-Led with wealth and abundance. And unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties, and I could not have Heather join me as I had hoped. Both of us are disappointed. Please do visit the show description page for today, because there you can find the link to Heather's website, because Heather has this really phenomenal school that she's launching next month called Spirit School. And I want all of the listeners here to be able to take advantage of that if you can, because I consider Heather to be a really phenomenal healer, and she's a woman of great integrity, and she's very authentic and genuine. And so being a healer myself, I'm quite a skeptic, and so it really does mean quite a bit if I speak very highly of someone who's in the same field that I'm in. So because we had planned to have Heather join me, I feel led to still focus on issues around wealth and abundance. And I shared a little bit about what true wealth is. And really, that's what true abundance is being able to be in the flow of abundance and wealth, not necessarily accumulating items. And so I feel very led and guided to do some of the energy work that I do and use in my private practice with my clients, which focuses on clearing belief systems, limiting belief systems in particular to money. And so as a group, I am sending you this clearing energy, and it's not even me, to be quite honest. It really is divine consciousness. It's Mother, Father, God. It's the source of all that is, the creator of all things. It's not me. I'm just facilitating and being led and directed. And so if you want to participate in this healing, then all you have to do is, when I indicate what it is, the belief system that I'm going to ask the creator of all that is to download and teach you, then all you have to do is within yourself say yes, and it'll happen for you. And if it's something you don't want, you just say, no, not a problem. If you don't want to participate in this healing, it's just fine. You can still listen. And without participating, that is the beauty of the universe, especially when it comes to belief systems. These are your belief systems. And we live in a universe of free will and free choice, and nothing is ever imposed upon us or forced upon us. So just know that those of you who do not want to participate in the healing, you can still listen to the show and be curious and just sit kind of on the outskirts. That's just fine. Those of you who do want to play with the light, then you know what to do. All you have to do is say yes. So the first thing that's coming up came under the category of power. And this is teaching you how to release the fear of being powerless. As you know, when it comes to money, if you are abundance or wealth, or how to create wealth, or how to create abundance, or how to tap into flow and synchronicity and good things happening, if it's not appearing, then you may have this fear of being powerless when it comes to abundance and wealth. And that will actually block you from being able to receive abundance and wealth. You see, because whatever you resist will persist. It's just the law of the universe. Whatever you focus on is what will persist, and whatever you resist will persist. Because when you're in that fear and you're feeling powerless and I just can't do it, it's too hard, and that's where you're kind of focusing your energy, then that is what is going to manifest in your life. In order to turn that around, you have to learn how to release the fear that you have around that. So with your permission, is it okay if we change that? And so those of you that said yes, Spirit is clearing that for you right now. And for those of you who just came in, if you're wondering, well, what is she doing? I know you can't see me because I'm on radio. I work with a pendulum. And when I know that Spirit is clearing, it just kind of spins around in a circle, and I know that the energy is being moved and people are being shifted. And beautifully, that just happened. So the next thing that's coming up that Spirit has identified that needs to be acknowledged is acknowledging your power. So many of us in life, we've been taught to disown who we are. We've been taught to disown our power. And if you listen to any of my previous shows, then you've heard this conversation more than once, I'm sure. So this is an opportunity for you, finally, to acknowledge your power. So if you would like to have that ability to know what it feels like to do that, and to know how to actually do that, to acknowledge your power, then all you have to do is say yes, because Spirit's already clearing those that have said yes. Great. And that's a really big critical key, because if you don't even know you have the power within yourself to create and manifest what it is that you want in your life, then it's going to be kind of challenging to do so, right? Beautifully. So that cleared very nicely. Okay, so the next one that's coming up is how to honor others with your power. Now, you might be going, well, what's that got to do with wealth and abundance? Well, let me explain. Quite often, we will shy away from what we call power. We think power can be a dirty word because we've got a misconstrued understanding of what real power is. We've seen power abused so much. And so we're even afraid of using that word as an adjective to define ourselves. We're afraid, for the most part, to say we are powerful, which stops us from connecting with just how powerful we really are. I think that there was a poem written by Marianne Williamson that Nelson Mandela recited years ago that's famous. And one of the most poignant lines in it is that the thing that we're most afraid of is how powerful we really are. And this is true because we don't understand real power. We see power in the world. We see abuse of power, and so we don't want to be associated with that. But this is so that you know how to honor yourself with your power and honor others with your power as well. So if you would like to know what that would feel like, how to honor others with your power, your true power, not power over them, then just say yes. Okay, great. So most of that even cleared. Because Spirit was ahead, because Spirit already knew who was going to say yes and who wasn't. So the next one that's coming up is how to release trauma from abuse. And again, you might be wondering, well, what has this got to do, Sylvia, with wealth and abundance? Well, again, this is about acknowledging your power. And if you have trauma from past abuse, that's going to stop you from even thinking, well, can I really have this life that I've dreamed of? Because it'll cause you to play it small. So if, with your permission, can we release the trauma from abuse? Wow, and that cleared very quickly, beautifully. Okay, so what is the next one that's coming up? So the next one that's coming up is how to live without equating power with material consumption and hoarding. Now, I'm sure that you know that sounds like that would have something definitely to do with wealth and abundance. Because if you feel that power has to do with hoarding or consuming, then, and it may not be that that's what you do, but have you ever heard the phrase, rich people are greedy? You know, that rich people are selfish. If those are some phrases you've heard, or if those are embedded within your belief system, then the last thing you're going to want to be is a wealthy person, because you're afraid of being associated with someone who would hoard or consume. Because the truth of the matter is, people are just people. Some people hoard, some people don't hoard. Wealthy people hoard, and people who are not wealthy hoard. It's not a society necessarily that a certain level of income indicates hoarding. So we just need to clear that, because the more judgments you have around what wealth looks like, what success looks like, the harder it's going to be for you to step into it. And so that's the beauty of what this work does. It really does clear up a lot of those judgments that we have around things that are holding us back in life. So the next thing we're going to look at, let's look at money and abundance. That's coming up. Let's go right to the heart of the matter now, right? So again, for those of you just tuning in, we're doing our show a little bit differently today. We're actually doing some remote clearing on people's belief systems around wealth and money. I had Heather Strang scheduled, but it didn't work out because of technical difficulties. So being flexible and knowing that everything is perfect and divine order, we're going to do something a little bit differently that I've been called to do. And so we're going to be doing healings. So for those of you who are just tuning in, you're going, well, how do I participate in this, Sylvia? What do you mean we're doing healings? So what I'm doing is we're just connecting with Spirit, and I'm asking the Creator of all that is to clear some of your blocks around money and abundance. And in order to participate, if I come up with something and it resonates with you and you want that shifted and changed so that block's no longer in your way, all you have to do is say yes, and it'll happen. So the next thing that's coming up is living in the flow. So for those of you who would like to know what it feels like and know how to live in the flow, all you have to do is say yes, and you'll receive that clearing. So living in the flow is a really exciting place to be, because that is what true wealth and abundance is all about. It's not about accumulation. It's about allowing yourself to receive and give. Everything is yin and yang in the universe. It's giving and it's receiving. It's about having that circle of flow in your life. And where we get stuck is when we get afraid and we get into scarcity and we get into lack and we go, oh, no, I have to hold on to this because I'm afraid I won't have enough. That's when we start to stifle the flow. So it doesn't mean that now you're going to go and spin without any care or regard. That's not what I'm talking about, because all action, if you've ever listened to me before, you're going to know I only believe in inspired action, not reaction. There's a big difference in that. Reaction is usually fear-driven. Inspired action comes from true inspiration, from your divine guidance, and it's usually something that's in complete alignment with how you feel, and it comes in a way that's very peaceful and nurturing for you. So we just cleared that so that you now know how to, what it feels like and how to live in the flow. And then also I'm going to ask that we clear, with your permission, all you have to do is say yes, to live without signing up for a struggle. So just say yes. We're going to continue that clearing as we head off into the break. We'll be back in just a few moments. Stay tuned. And we'll finish where we left off.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jollish Hour.
What if living didn't have to be so serious?
What if you could move beyond your problems with greater confidence and ease than you've ever imagined?
Throw your labels out the window and join the Irreverent Therapist for practical tips and a very different way of approaching the changes you would like to create.
Marilyn Bradford
and Pam Hodling
have empowered hundreds of people to come out of self-judgment, quit looking to experts, and begin to create the lives they desire.
Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern on the Irreverent Therapist Show.
As difficult as it is to believe, there are places in Africa where human traffickers sell albino children and their body parts for use in magic rituals. Humanity Healing International is actively working in Uganda to change this paradigm. The Albino Rescue Project finds albino children who are at risk and places them in safe schools and environments where they can learn and grow free from fear. To learn more or to sponsor a child, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Hi there and welcome back. This is Sylvia Henderson on Intuitive Transformations, and we are definitely doing some intuitive transforming tonight. Originally, I had Heather Strang scheduled, and we had some technical difficulties, so not to disappoint when it comes to wealth and abundance. I'm using some of the tools I use in my practice with some of my clients who are more open to really wanting to change their life on a very deep core level by shifting and changing belief systems. And so the process I'm doing is something that is incredibly effective. It's changed my life significantly. It's changed the lives of many of my clients because here's the thing. Everything you experience in your life is really pretty much based on your perceptions and your belief systems, right? And so if you can change your belief systems and your perceptions, guess what? Your life will change significantly, dramatically, magically. And so I've been doing some energy clearing around some belief systems, some blocks that some of you may have on a group level. I've tapped into everyone's energy, and I'm just working with the creator of all that is to identify what are some of the big roadblocks that you may be having that are stopping you from stepping into the flow. The last belief system that we cleared before the break was how to live without signing up for a struggle. Because I know that I'm done with struggling in life. I'm ready to really be in the flow, and I know that you are too. So as we continue this process, it's very simple. If you want to participate in the energy clearing, all you have to do is say yes when I bring up the belief system that needs to shift. And if you do not, then you just say no, and you can just sit on the sidelines and listen and be entertained by this, because it really is a fascinating process. I love it. My clients love it. I have a lot of fun with it. You might even notice that I kind of go into a zone with it, so this isn't my normal interview style, but this is certainly how I work with clients one-on-one in order to affect some really meaningful change in their life. So the next block has to do with being worthy of abundance. So with your permission, is it okay if we allow the Creator to teach you how to be worthy of receiving abundance? And those of you who say yes, Spirit's already doing a very nice clearing here. And so what will happen is you'll be able to receive abundance a lot easier. Most of us on the planet are blocked to receiving abundance because we don't think that we are good enough. We have a world, especially here in the States, of people that have the I'm not good enough-itis. And so this is about removing that block to clear that so that you know you are good enough. You are worthy to receive abundance. There's no reason that you should not. So that just finished clearing. Very nice. I love that. And so the next thing that's coming up is how to receive divine supply, knowing how to receive from the universe. So if you'd like to know how to receive divine supply, then please say yes, because this divine supply is not finite. It is infinite. It's never ending. It's always there. We live in a completely abundant universe. The misperception is that there is lack and scarcity. That is a misperception. And you might be thinking, well, I don't know about you, Sylvia, but where I live, I see lack and scarcity wherever I go. This is about removing that block so that you can start to see life from a different perspective. And just so you know, it's not like you're going to wake up tomorrow and go, oh, wow, everything has shifted. This isn't a full session. We're working as a group. We're working on the belief systems at the highest level belief systems for the group. This is also going to be an abbreviated session because we only started during the second half of the show. But we're trying to hit the biggest ones that we can before the show is over. The other thing to know is that what you might notice is things just might get a little easier. And that's the first thing that you'll start to notice. Sometimes clients, when I'm having a one-on-one session, they start to get very, very tired during the session because as this is teaching you new belief systems, this allows you to release the blocks that you've been holding on to. And if you think of yourself going to the gym and you've been walking around all day with like 10-pound dumbbells, one in each arm, you know how your muscles get fatigued and tired? And then if you did that for 8 hours and then you set them down, you probably couldn't even pick up a cup of water because your muscles would be so fatigued. If you're feeling tired, that's all it is. It's that old energy you've been holding on to that's now being cleared and being released. And your energy stores will return shortly thereafter. Drink lots of water after this if that is the case. So that did clear very nicely. And then also just download and teach you, if you're open and want to receive this, how to flow with love, joy, and happiness. Who doesn't want more of that, right? And when you work in the realm, when you live in that awareness, the flow of love and joy and happiness, what's more abundant than that? You know, many people, they get confused and they think that abundance and wealth has to do with money and material things. But let me tell you something. You get that brand new car and you're excited about it for, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe 3, 4 months, 6 months max. After a while, it's no longer that brand new car and you're on to the next thing, shiny bright light that you want to purchase and buy to try to fill that void. But if you really have that flow of love, of joy, and of happiness, then you are satiated and satisfied with the new car or without the new car. Because it's really that love, joy, and happiness that you think that car represents. And that's why it feels so good when you buy it. It makes you happy. It makes you feel joy. And it makes you feel loving and loved, right? So this is about flowing with really that true end result, that love, joy, and happiness. Because when you're in that vibration, it raises your vibration so that you are now in alignment with things that are at a higher vibrational rate. So it will help to pull you up out of the poverty scarcity, pull you out of feeling separated from wealth and abundance, and put you on level playing field with that wealth and abundance, because those two things play at the level of joy, love, and happiness. So being able to flow with that is really important. And then the next thing, which is probably going to be the last thing, is how to step forward on your life's path, moving forward in life. So you have discernment and direction and understanding, so you know which way to turn, so you can hear your guidance and follow it clearly. A lot of people that I work with, they have forgotten how to trust their inner guidance. And so when you can step into that, and which I'm sure Heather would have talked about in being spirit-led, when you're able to connect with your true self, with your inner guidance, your life becomes so much more easier and so much more filled with joy. And that allows you to step forward on your life's path. Okay, there is one more. I'm going to just do one more. And that is claiming your heart's desire. So if you would like to know what that feels like and how to do that, actually claim it, not name it, actually claim it, experience, receive it. Hey, say yes, okay? Because that's clearing now. And I think that's probably going to be the last process we're going to be able to do today. So we have a few more minutes left before we end the show. Let's see, maybe there's one more I can get in there for you. Okay, here's a good one. Open the door of your destiny. How many of you want to do that? Open the door of your true destiny. Doesn't that sound yummy? So if you want that, say yes. And I know some of you have, because I see here that Spirit's doing that clearing, downloading and teaching you what that feels like and how to do that. I know, who doesn't want more of that? I think that's a beautiful thing, to be able to open the door of your destiny. Some of you may feel like destiny's door has been slammed shut in your face, like you're stuck and you can't move forward. This will help to clear that. Again, maybe not overnight. Like I said, this is an abbreviated session, and we're working on a group level. I'm not working one-on-one, but this will just give you a little taste, and this will help lighten the energy and make things a little easier as you move forward in life. So, as I said, I'm going to schedule another time for Heather to rejoin me, and I can't wait for you to have an opportunity to hear her. Again, she's a phenomenal woman. Please go to the show's description page so that you can jump onto her website, check out Spirit School, and check out her videos and check out her work. She's an amazing healer. She uses John of God energies, and she also uses Body Talk, which is a really wonderful process. And just to remind you again, next week I'm going to have Pam Grout on the show, and she is a #1 New York Times bestseller. She's written the book E Squared and E Cubed, and these are amazing experiments that she put together in these 2 books that allow people to have a tangible experience with the field of all that is possible, divine consciousness, that there is this supportive universe here to support you and that follows your intentions. The other thing about Pam I just wanted to let you know is that she's also a Course in Miracles teacher and student, as am I, because she and I both do believe that we create our own reality, and that we are living in third-dimensional illusion, but there's something far greater within us that can shift and change and create the lives that we dream of. She's a travel journalist, and she has a plethora of stories to share with you all. And I know you're going to be excited to hear about her journey. So this is the end of our show. Thank you so much for listening and hanging in there with me. I hope you had a good time, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And next week, as I said, I'll be here Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care. Have a really amazing week, everyone. Know that you are loved. Know that you are cared for. And go out there and be the best you can be. Take care. Bye-bye.